All right. Hi, everybody. I know it takes a few minutes to get people on here as we go live in the beginning, but those that are watching the video later on, we'll go ahead and get started for them. So, hi, everybody. I'm Sherri, and I want to introduce Rob. I'm so excited for you to be with me today and the audience. So, Rob works with tarot cards, and I love, love, love the name that you use, Tarot with an Attitude. That is just
Absolutely.
I love the name. I love the name. So tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and your background, and then I'm sure people will start joining us.
Okay. Well, first off, thank you for being here. Love your show, and I am just grateful to be able to just help people as much as I can. Actually, my background, I'm going to give you a very abbreviated background. My background started, I was 19, married with a kid. My dad was a fundamental Bible-believing Baptist preacher, so that didn't go over very well. And I had to figure out what I could do to make a living, and I spent my first 14 years in law enforcement. And I left law enforcement because I didn't like the way it was going. And the guy that hired me when I quit was actually a guy I had arrested for a felony. So he came to my house and he's like, I heard you. And he said I treated him with respect and everything else. Nobody had ever done that. And it was a big running joke for a long time because when I showed up on Monday morning to work with this crew, which was a demolition crew, you know, everybody's like, oh, crap, what's going on? But then he actually got me into the call center business. And through all this, I'm learning root cause. I could figure problems out. I had a knack for being able to drive deep. And I was shelving my intuition. I was, you know, sheltering it, afraid of it because I've been taught that was all bad. So as I went into the call center business, did very well there, but wound up, I had a GED, was knocking down about 80 grand a year with a GED. Did so well, they sold the company, and then I'm back working at 7-Eleven. My oldest boy is the one that actually talked me into going back to school at the age of 50. I had a GED and went back to school 7 years. He's now an archaeologist, and I have my master's in social work, and am working on my clinical license for therapy or whatnot. I'm within 30 hours of being actual therapist with the state of Florida on a master's level therapist. While I was doing that, what got me into the tarot and mixing the two, I had started opening up. My education helped me broaden my ideas of what was happening. And at this point, I started working with people with very serious mental health problems with a mental health hospital, and then addictions drew me in. I wound up working with people with addictions, and I tried to connect with them on different levels. And it's hard because, especially if you're preaching the same thing they've heard their whole life. At this point, I opened up and I started using my spirituality and my connectedness with spirit, universe, things like this. And I brought tarot into the mix in working with people. It started by using it before they came in the office, giving me the insight to help get to the bottom. And then one of my people actually saw my deck sitting on the table, and they're like, "You read tarot?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Do a reading for me. And it just kind of went from there. So now I have my own practice called Dynamic Life Perspectives as well, where I actually do mental health counseling and therapy, but I do it with an energy level and a the spirit and things like that, and using my intuition and abilities to help people get to the bottom of things.
Wow. That's such a great story. I love it. Isn't it fantastic how life just organically brings things at the time when it's meant to be? You know what I'm saying? Like, and the trajectory and the buildup of your life, you know, in hindsight, you look back and you're like, how did I get from being a police officer to here and reading tarot cards? And, you know, I had this dream as a little girl that I was going to be a famous elephant trainer and a veterinarian. And look at me now, I'm like doing nothing, the farthest from that. But, you know, life takes you in the direction you're meant to go and the time that it's meant to happen. And it's an exciting journey.
And
nonetheless.
it is. And one of the things that people need to realize, just like we talked about, it's funny. My daughter, when you asked her at a young age, what do you want to be? She was going to grow up and sell balloons at SeaWorld. So, and now she's like some big project manager with CenturyLink. All right.
Yeah,
Um, so, but in that is one of the things I have to tell people, we're constantly changing. Everything we do is constantly changing. You don't have the same, you may have the same core beliefs you had 5 years ago, but something in what you believed or the way you do something has changed. We're meant to evolve. We're meant to move forward. We're meant to learn. And that learning process should never stop. And some of that's what's going on and what we allow ourselves to be opened up to.
exactly. I mean, what's the year? They say every 7 years, you change as a person. I don't know if it's exactly 7, but I believe that over time, we are shifting, because we have different experiences. And so something we believed, 7 years ago, 10 years ago may not be the same. And that's okay. It's all about being flexible with your life experiences, because that kind of shapes who we are, and by the foundation, and as we go through life and our experiences, which is great, because when we use tarot cards, I used tarot cards, I don't know, a long, long time ago. My mom and I used to do them together, and I really got into it. I used the Rider-Waite deck, and I used to do readings for people. It's funny, I'd be at my office at work, and the people would be lined up. Can you give me a reading at lunch? And so I really enjoyed it, because the cards don't lie. Like, as long as you know how to do it the right way, and you're channeling the messages from the right place, because you can get advice from the darker entities if you're not careful, if you don't know what you're doing. But generally, if you're doing it the right way, the information is spot on for whatever it is that you're asking, and for whoever you're asking for. And I thought it'd be fun today for us to pull some cards on certain things. And as people can see, based on the title of the show today, Breaking Free of Paradigms, I really feel like that's an important topic right now, because that's exactly what's happening in the real world, in this now moment, in this timeline. This is exactly where we are. And we are breaking down this illusion of this third dimensional matrix that we have been placed in for such a long time. And right now it's breaking down, timelines are shifting, and I want people to recognize the power that each individual person has in shifting these timelines, because people don't believe that they are powerful individually, but you are, because the projection that you put out of your thoughts, of your fears, of your words, of your emotions have a ripple effect, and they actually do ripple into the collective consciousness of humanity. So they either add in a positive way or they add in a negative way. And so we have absolute power to shift the timeline, not only in a positive direction, but in a faster way. So, there is no time with energy. It doesn't exist. It's just an illusion of this matrix. So things can speed up based on the energy in the timeline, and things can be slower based on the energy. So we have the absolute ability right now as a collective humanity to make this dark period that we're going through, which is it's all relative. It's important that we go through this right now as this paradigm breaks down. But the amount of people that are hurt, or the duration of how long it takes, and casualties and that sort of thing, is highly dependent on the collective consciousness. If everybody's focusing on the fear porn and all the negativity and feeding into it, and walking around in their masks, contributing to the fear, and watching the news, and being affected by riots and lockdowns, all we're doing is contributing to that ripple effect of negativity, and it's making the timeline slower, and it's making the experience more difficult. So if we just shift our thinking into a positive mentality, where you have faith and you project a positive timeline, and project us getting through this period faster, more quickly, and work on yourself and your own vibration, bringing that up, we can significantly shift the timeline in a much faster way to get us out of this paradigm much faster. So I don't know what you think about that, Rob.
No, I'm right there with you. And it's I do believe, and something was given to me this morning when I was listening and opening up and whatnot, we talked about this dark time we're going through. However, there's always light at the end. In tarot, you'll remember the Wheel of Fortune card. Everything changes. Mm-hmm. Nothing stays the same. Nothing's meant to stay the same. So we're not going to be in this dark period of time forever. Something's going to change. Something's going to happen. It always does. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I was given this morning was, remember, the sun is up for most of us. You're East Coast, United States. I'm East Coast, United States. We've got this bright, beautiful, sunshiny day going on here. It's just gorgeous, a little cool. But, we got that. Somewhere, everywhere you think about in the world, there's always a place the sun is coming up. Yeah. We're revolving. We move. No matter what's going on here, somewhere the sun is rising. We're just waiting for our turn to get back into that sun. We have to realize we immerse, and I think that the first thing I would beg people to do, turn your media down, turn it off, step away from it for a while, and realize what is within your control and what is not within your control. If you're focusing on a TV and it's starting to get you into your negative vibrations, into your negative thoughts, your negative energies, step away from it. Leave it alone. Realize these are merely events. Life is what's occurring in here. Life is what you make it. Life is what's going on around you. And you're right. Good people are getting drawn into staying in negativity, and they don't even understand that they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, at some point, the negativity becomes all-encompassing. And when we talk about the negativity, I love referring to Star Wars and all that stuff. And if you think about it, the light side, the white side, step into the light, the dark, all of that. And little Yoda going, it's a slippery slope when you go into the dark side. It's very easy to get over there. And you're there and you don't even realize it. Kind of like depression.
Yeah.
And different things that I deal with on a regular basis, that anxiety, things like that. Why aren't things? Well, energy is not, we all want to say, a lot of people think of energy with a personality. Energy is just that. It is energy. It is going to be like a magnet and attract. And if we are sitting there concentrating on everything that's wrong, the universe, the energy, keeps putting that out in front of us. Yes, this is wrong, but we need to be thinking about what's right, what's good, where are we at? You have to find that balance. And in that balance is where you'll find positive energy and be able to breathe. Okay, it's just a thing.
Absolutely. People don't recognize too, it's like a boomerang effect. So you put that, you're concentrating, you're focusing on all the negativity. The universe will bring that energy right back to you like a boomerang, because what you ripple out is what you also attract back to you, because your vibration, the resonance has to match. So if you're a very perpetual negative person, angry person, you are not likely going to attract positive energy into your life or positive people, because you're at a different resonance. It's all about shifting back and forth from this third dimensional state into this fifth density. And people are going in and out of it all day long. Some, if they're, like, I'm not going to watch the news. And then at 5 o'clock, they're like, well, let me just take a peek, see what's going on. And then immediately they get all of the lies and everything, boom, 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 one after another. And then their vibration drops back down. They've been at this high all day long, and then suddenly back down again. And then they're now going to if they don't recognize it and they don't have an awareness about it, and they don't take control by turning it off and putting yourself, projecting back a positive outlook, or okay, I recognize that this was negative, but in my reality, what I'm projecting, what I have faith in, is positive, and you let it go, your vibration will go right back up, right back into the fifth density. People don't realize they have that power. And unfortunately, you work with addiction. That's exactly what happens to these people, unfortunately, is they get down into the lower frequency, lower vibration, and a lot of things happen, and they're more vulnerable to that energy, and so they mask it or they numb themselves by drinking, by doing drugs, and it's a cycle that they can't get out of because they're trapped in that third dimension, that lower vibration, and they can't get themselves out of it. And they really struggle, and
Right.
and that's exactly what you're trying to help those people work out of it, work their way out of it, and it's energetic. It's much more simple than we think. Although there are physiological responses to withdrawals and that sort of thing, ultimately it's an energetic vibrational trap that they're in. And
Absolutely. Absolutely. And people don't realize, well, let me just pop on the news. Let me just pop on Facebook. Let me find out. And remember, you're being fed on Facebook everything you said, I like, I like, I like. So if you're trying to go to bed and you're laying in bed, well, I can't sleep. Let me go to Facebook, and that's your feed. Then people are coming to me, go, Rob, I can't sleep. I need some help. Well, why not half hour? Turn all your electronics off. Okay. And particularly anything, I know, and this is going to freak a lot of people out. Anything with an LED light that has that blue LED background to it. And everybody's like, all the lights in my house are LED. Light a freaking candle, read a regular book, but get all that stuff turned off, because now they've actually linked that blue LED light to child depression, because the LED light is in front of them so much, it's having an actual physiological effect on their brain, on their body. So step away, let it go. You're not going to fix everything today. And in getting back to something you said that struck me very, very deep, there were a lot of good people recently in Washington that got sucked into a negative vortex that made them do some very stupid things, because most of those people would never want a police officer to get hurt over their actions. They're all against that. But it happened because some negative energy got brought in. We got into the anger. We got into the emotion. We got out of that being able to think about it. What am I doing here? And they went so full on. There was just some very stupid actions that were done by some very good people. I would say the same thing happened with Black Lives Matter. Great movement to begin with. Okay. The bad energy got in. People fed into that negative energy. And before you know it, we've got places burning down. We've got people with lives lost and lives ruined. And lives were ruined over this thing. You have to, part of being in control is finding that balance. You have to be able to think for yourself and say, at this point, I have to step away. And whether it be from Facebook or from the internet or from whatever, take a break. Man, that negative vibration, it'll wear your ass out. It'll wear you out quick.
It will. It really will. We have a responsibility as individuals of this collective humanity to do our part, and it's all about controlling our own vibration, our own frequency, our own energy, what words we put out, what we're thinking, what we're saying to other people, what we're watching. You're right. Get off of Twitter. Facebook and all of those places if it's filled with negativity, because you're just bringing yourself into that vibration, and you unfortunately inadvertently are contributing now to the negative collective consciousness, whether you realize it or want to. You absolutely are, and we have that control to be able to do that. So, you picked a card. So what are we doing?
I pulled a card. Right then I was asking, what does the world need to know about energy? Okay. And y'all saw me shuffling. I think you did. I can't tell what everybody's seeing, but I was shuffling, and that's what I pulled. What I actually got here was the 10 of Pentacles. And for people that know tarot, they're actually laughing right now. Okay. people that don't, let me explain the 10 of Pentacles. The 10 talks about things coming to an end. Things are coming to completion. But Pentacles are all about manifesting in the real world. So when I asked about energy, if you look, this is an older couple. Okay, they've got their dog, they've got their castle behind them. It's a very peaceful card if you were to see it up in front of you. Your energy will allow you to manifest your dreams, what you want, your desire in whatever the world is doing around you, is what this card is telling you when I ask, what does the world need to know about energy? Energy lets you create your surroundings physically, and it helps you to manifest what you want in this life. People don't realize that's the key, is staying happy and bringing, okay, I want to concentrate on what I want, what I need. So that was the first card, that I thought.
Love that. I love that. And, that's what we should do more shows about that, actually, because people don't realize the power of manifestation. They also don't realize the inadvertent power of manifestation, meaning you can manifest negativity just as easily as you can only manifest the vibration that you're in. So if you're in a fear vibration, all you're going to manifest is more fear and that energy back to you. So you have to raise your vibration, and then you can manifest what it is that will match that vibration. And we have the power, and they have indoctrinated us for our many, many generations into not believing that we have the ability to do that. Because if everybody did, our earth would look completely different, because we would know the power of our ability to tap into a higher awareness, project out what it is that we desire, and it has to be for the highest good of humanity. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. And so if you're wishing for something that's very egocentric or very personal, but it's going to the vibrational repercussions, so to speak, hurts others, I personally don't believe that that will happen. It has to be in the highest good of others. And so I think that's where we're getting into in this fifth density. As light beings, we have the power to create. Dark beings do not have the power to create. They can't. So all they do is gain more power from our fear and the vibration of the people who are putting that energy off, and they feed off of that, and then they get power from it. We have the ability. We don't need to do that. We have the ability to tap into our own heart center, to raise our frequency, to raise our awareness, to collect to the consciousness of the divine spirit, whatever you want to call it, and create whatever it is that we desire. And I think that we're going to be taught how to do that very soon, or at least we'll have the ability or clarity to know that we can do it innately, just tap into it.
And the scientific world, even in mental health now, when I was going through my trainings and whatnot for my master's degree, they're actually starting to acknowledge, they won't acknowledge spiritualism. I think it's absolutely hysterical that we're all supposed to be diverse, but we're all supposed to be evidence-based practices. It's a big term they like to use. We got to have evidence. But now they're acknowledging the term of you can become your own, and they're using the words self-fulfilling prophecy. Because you can, if you think, when you get up every day, my car sucks, it's going to break down, I'm going to be stranded on the road, why bother? Things are going to get bad. You eventually stop taking care of the car because you know it's going to break down. Okay.
Yeah.
You stop bathing it because it's a rust bucket. So the rust continues to grow. And guess what? Before long, you've got a car that won't crank. I knew it. Well,
I told you so.
Yeah.
I told you so.
You're right. You told the universe that over and over and over. Instead of taking that few moments, I call it a 20-minute challenge every morning. Get up, get dressed, get ready, but give yourself 20 extra minutes to just sit. No electronics, no nothing. Be alone and take some time to go, I'm alive. If it's raining, wow, things are going to be beautifully green tomorrow. Thank you for the rain. If it's snowing, at least everything's white right now. It's cool, but spring is coming. The next snow brings me closer to the next spring. But be thankful. And a lot of this begins with being thankful for what we have. If you've got a car, I know your car being a POS is weighing on your mind. But I can tell you, I could take you to 3 different homeless people if you want to give them your POS that will be dancing in the street. They're just, even if it never cranks, they're glad to have it for shelter. You know? So, yeah, I know that problem is real to you, and it's just as real as him not. But at the same point, bring it to you. And if you need a new car, don't be going, my car sucks. This car's bad. I got to get a new car. This is horrible. Hey, my car is doing really good. Okay. It would be nice if I had leather bucket seats, you know, but put it in a laughing. Laughter is huge. Positivity is huge. And putting out there what you want to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think people manifest incorrectly. You have to stop begging the universe for what you want. You have to thank the universe for what you already have as though it's already happened. So, you have your POS car. You say, I'm so grateful for this car, but I'm also so grateful for a better one coming. You have to manifest in a manner that it's already energetically happening. And then physically it will happen probably sooner than you think. And people always pray. I wish I could have this. What is the universe supposed to do with that? Are you asking a question? What are you telling me? And then you leave it for interpretation. So you have to say, I like when I wanted to, I've been doing a lot of manifestation recently, especially, I've been planning this children's center that I've been dreaming of opening for years and years and years, a metaphysical center and spiritual center for children. It's been a dream of mine. I even wrote a book about it. And I kept saying to myself, you see, I do it too. I said, how am I going to get the money for this? Like, how am I going to do that? Oh my gosh. Like, are people going to want to come? And all these things, right? And then finally I was like, what are you doing, Sherri? You're doing exactly what you tell others not to do. And so what I started doing was I said, I'm so grateful for this center that is coming. And I could see the children in it. I could hear the laughter. I was thanking the universe for bringing these children to me. And I was thanking the teachers for coming and helping me build the community. I tell you, I'm not joking you, within just a few days, I had the website up. I had the classes scheduled. I have meetings every day I've talked to probably over 20 people that want to be involved. I mean, the energy is just happening like rapid fire. And I think a lot of it had to do with me switching my thinking and telling the universe or thanking the universe for what I wanted and getting it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was asking, what does she need to know about the whole
Knight of
child
Cups
center you're building? Knight of Cups. Knights are all about movement, moving forward. Cups are emotional. This is all subconsciously. We have to realize we have trained our subconscious to do things we don't even know we're doing or thinking. This is all about forward movement and being happy. Laser focused. This is what I want. You manifested your dream. I'm going to try it. And some of that is exactly what it is, so good job. Good job. And the cards are saying, my spirit guides are saying, this is where, yes, if you put that type of energy in it. Isn't it funny how a lot of times we'll go to a mom and pop business or another business, and how many millions of people will walk in out of that business going, I wish I could work for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can't.
Yeah.
Okay. But you've got to realize that just because it's work, it's hard work doing what we do,
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
But the payoff is I don't have to tell anybody anything. Guess what? I'm taking the weekend to go to St. Augustine, which I did a couple of weeks ago.
Nice.
Everybody, sorry, rebook to next week. It's my choice. Mm-hmm. The other thing is what a lot of people don't realize, once you're doing, try to start something in home. In today's world, everybody's finances are blah. You need to be trying to get something going from an in-home based business, okay? And we'll talk about this more on the next show, okay? But this kind of led into this. They need an in-home based business to supplement any income they may have. So at that point, start something. if you want to sell crochet, if you want to make boots for cats, I don't care what it is. Number one, if you're focusing on something that brings you joy,
Yeah.
you're going to raise your vibration. So, I mean, there you go.
That's key. If you enjoy it, it doesn't feel like work. You have stressful days, of course. I've been very stressed the last couple of weeks because I'm just busy constantly, but I'm so excited about why I'm busy that I don't care necessarily. I just sleep really well at night to recharge. So maybe we could pull a card right now that will be helpful well, first I just want to take a second because we haven't done this yet, and I apologize because Rob and I have been so engaged with each other. I want to say hi to everybody that's watching, and those
Hi,
of you
everybody.
have said things in the chat. I've put a few of them up. Hi, Jay and April. Hi, Rabbits Warren. Mindy. Hi, everybody. If you guys have any questions, or if there's anything that you want Rob to pull a card for, please pop it up in the comments, and we will absolutely try to pull a card for that particular question. But for now, what do you think would be the best card? I know you just pulled one for. I forgot what it was.
I did the energy. What people needed to know about energy.
Maybe what we could look forward to, in the next week with coming events, and then perhaps what's to follow, like a follow-up card or something like that.
Okay. Next week with coming events, as far as
like political. I know that's weighing heavy on everyone's mind, and not a topic that we're really going to get involved in discussing specifics. That's not this particular channel right now, but more or less the energy involved in that, or what's to be expected through the cards messages.
Okay. So here's where I take a moment and I pray, and this is where I ask people to understand. And I've lost a lot of my Christian friends that won't have anything to do with me because now they think I'm of Satan because I do this, and they don't realize I'm praying to the same God they pray to. Okay. Right. I just get a different visual, but I also believe God gave us angels. He gave us spirit guides. There are things of heaven that are here surrounding us that people aren't reaching out to grab because they've let the earthly vision of religion tell them, no, this can't be. Again, unfortunately, I grew up in a church and I listened to all these hundreds of huge fundamentalist preachers, and a lot of them I either sang in their church or was able to deal with some big name people that if I mentioned, you would know right out of the gate. And they've been sitting in my dad's living room. The things I heard also were some of them talking about the lies they had to tell, because if they told them the truth, people would leave. And they're all the big name people paying for their church. So they're everything a man tells you is not necessarily belief. Even in your fundamentalist, it's got to be read the Bible, decipher for yourself. You were given intuition to use as a power. Use it. Okay. So I don't mean to step on anybody's toes. I'm asking you, just if you're a Christian, grab your Bible, read it, meditate on it, ask for prayer, ask for guidance.
Same
and
thing.
Maybe you might find something out a little different. So with the whole political thing going on, Heavenly Father, Mother, Spirit, guides, angels, please make sure that the answers I'm giving from these cards are not my own. What you want the world to know about the political climate. So mote it be. And the first thing they're giving me is to remind people we are spiritual beings having a human experience. One day we're all going to be going, holy crap, do you believe how much energy we lost over that? And it was a blink of time, So, yeah, remember all things it's very passionate. I understand. And remember, the media is great about knowing how to affect you emotionally. So, let's do that. So what do we need to know about the political climate? What's coming up politically for the next week? In the next week, 9 of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles is talking about, and it was reversed. It's going to be, whenever we talk about a reversal here, we're blocking things that could be moving ahead. Pentacles, again, manifestation. We're going to see some things starting to come to an end. Things are coming to a fruition. Things are going to end. And I think people fear that. They fear what happens when we move beyond this. Okay? When this is all over, whoever wins, loses, or draws, what are we going to do? What if we do lose? What if all this is going to take place? What do you do? And what this is telling me is you need to be careful not to block good things from happening to you personally. And this is saying some good things are going to happen. Things are going to manifest. Make sure you're not blocking or not being part of it. When I look at the shadow card on this, I am literally getting the Two of Cups. Okay. Again, emotions are going to play a huge part in this. Don't let this be an emotional driver. That's what this is telling me. Two of Cups, it actually came up reversed when I pulled it, is again, Cups being emotions, lovers. This is a partnership with you and either our government, a partnership between you and your community, okay? But that's what all this is coming about. It's all saying be careful, okay? Because remember, things will ultimately change anyways. One way or the other, things are going to change.
Yeah.
Okay, and we can't always keep everything the way we want it. So that's the purpose of the wheel. If everything stayed the way we wanted it, there would be no growth. A tree grows because it runs out of water occasionally. So its roots keep reaching out to try to find more water. It keeps reaching up. Okay. If you give a tree a constant source of water, eventually you'll either drown it or it will stay in that one state because it doesn't have to grow anymore. It's being given everything it needs. We're not here for that. We're here to learn through this. Believe it or not, folks, we're here to experience this. And to maybe a lot of us are here to learn, don't let the crowds drag you off. Don't let the media run your life. Stay focused, stay balanced. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think that's an important point too, because a lot of it has to do with people getting comfortable, and fearing change, regardless if it's good or bad. People get so complacent in their bubble that they've created for themselves that they fear what's outside of that, and so they just get complacent and they get comfortable, and then they don't want that change because they just like, well, I've mastered this, so let me just stay in it because I'm afraid. And this happens to me all the time when I have to come when clients come to see me. They have a lot of issues that they want to talk to me about, and they want me to help them clear energetically. But the first question I always ask them is, are you actually ready to do that? Because you could say a lot of things, but you actually have to be ready to step out of that. And a lot of people are afraid because of where they're like, well, I don't know what else is out there. But how are you going to know if you don't break out of that shield that you play, or that bubble you've placed yourself in? And that's a lot of what you're talking about is we're here to grow. We're here to learn. And in order to do that, things happen, sometimes good, sometimes bad. We learn, we have lessons. And some are easier than others.
Absolutely. It's funny. I'm pulling some cards here because while you were talking, I see Sina. I had my thing on the wrong thing, so I didn't see some of the questions. So I apologize, folks. But Sina asked a question about when am I meeting my next perfect love partner.
I was wondering if you were going to do that one.
Yeah, I'll do that one, and then I'll do Rabbit's Four next if you want.
That's awesome. Okay.
What we've got here for Sina is I drew 3 cards. First card being the Page of Cups. So that's this card, and it came up upright. Okay. Pages are all about acting like a teenager. Sina, I don't know how old you are. Okay, but this could be a young person that you might meet somebody that either has the spirit of a teenager or is actually a younger person. So that's up for you to decide how that fits with you. But at the same point, it is saying one of the things is don't forget for you to act like a kid. Okay. And I notice you use the word perfect. Next thing is to remember we're not all perfect. Okay. Things are going to, things are going to happen with no matter who you meet. Okay.
Yeah.
But then what came up interesting enough, major arcana card for Cena. I don't know if I'm saying that right. So Cena, forgive me. Okay. What I want you to know is there's something you're supposed to emerge from. According to this, there is a rebirth that has got to occur. You're either in the process of being reborn, rethinking something, but once you get through that transformation, judgment is all about, in many of these cards, you will actually see people rising from the dead, from caskets, things like this. This is about, and if you can tell, there is a child in Judgment's arms. Okay. So as far as what I pulled about your next love life, there's some type of transformation that you or this person is waiting to go through. Once you go through it or you accept some new path you've been dealing with, things will start to happen. And then we've got the Four of Cups, but the Four of Cups also came up in first. And we're talking about love here. Perfect lover. Cups are all about emotion. And fours are about you have to make sure you are establishing a solid base within yourself. That's why this is reversed. This is all about you making sure you have a solid foundation of your emotions to be able to handle that so you don't block it, you don't miss it. That's what I get for that.
Wow, that was very detailed. That was very nice. Hopefully he answered your question.
I hope so.
Yeah. Here, I'll put up the second one that you were referring to.
Okay. I haven't been able to figure out who my spirit guides are. How do I find out? I can do that through Rabbit. I can do that through tarot cards. I can give you more of an archetype. This is going to require mastering meditation. One of the things I learned, make an appointment with your spirit guide, because some of them want to be seen, some of them don't. You have more than one. And Rabbits, one of the things is you have to realize they're there. These are people, spirit guides are actually people you made an agreement with before you chose to come down in this form. Spirit guides, one of the big beliefs is somebody that you said, hey, I'm going down for my trip. I got to learn this. Help you know these people from a different either dimension, life, how you want to look at it. Yeah, so in order to do that, tell them, and while you're walking around, get still and say, on Friday, I'm going to go into a meditative state for the purposes of finding out who you are. Okay. And then have that intent, set that intent so they will know, okay, here's what is going to happen. Okay. They may not show their face. I've got one that I've never seen the face of. All I see is the hair, but other people have. Okay. I've got a beautiful drawing of one that I met this wonderful lady who did a sketch of what my Michael looks like. And everybody was laughing. They're like, holy crap, you have Sam Elliott. He's got this big bushy mustache. He's very Germanic looking. You have Sam Elliott for a spirit guide. So Rabbit, that's where it's not just as simple as that, but Tarot with an Attitude, I can take some time and do that reading for you real quick. I don't have anything pulled out. Let's see what we can do. Normally when I do this, I have my major arcana pulled apart out separately, and I try to see what is the archetype of a spirit guide. So for Rabbits, I'm calling on my spirit guide, Michael, and the others around me to help me let's see if we can't pull something about the spirit guide. Rabbits, you have several spirit guides, but you have more than spirit guides around you. There are some other things going on that, and you're right now going, yeah, okay. There are times you know you're alone, but you are not alone, and you know you're not alone, if that makes any sense. There's not a physical being around you, but there is something around you, and you feel it. And I'm getting, you get on the back of your neck and on the right side, it's like somebody blows across it. So tell me if that makes any sense at all or not. Okay, out of the whole deck, and I told you I wanted a major arcana card. I got a major arcana card, Wheel of Fortune, and we were talking about the wheel. Rabbits, one of your spirit guides is there to help you through this change. The spirit guide is there to guide you. There's one spirit guide that's really stepping forward, that's there to say you need to be talking to this person when you're going through changes. That's what they're there to help you, whether they're personal, relationship, work, things like that. You have a spirit guide there that's there to help you with change. And that little voice you keep hearing in your head that confuses you right now, a lot of times you really need to hang into a meditative state and let that voice come through and really listen to it. That's your spirit guide.
Yeah, wow. Thank you so much, Rob. That was exceptional. I mean, I just want to add to that. Everybody has a spirit guide, and oftentimes that's how they come through, is through your own thoughts. That's how they get your attention. And sometimes if you really have a higher awareness, you will be able to tell sometimes whether the thoughts are yours or someone else's, because maybe it's something you wouldn't normally think or say it in that way. That's their way of getting your attention. And like Rob said, if you ask for them, make an appointment. I teach intuitive development, connecting to spirit classes that I've had a lot of success with, because I teach people many different things, but one of which is to create a safe space. So you meditate and then visualize a space for them to connect to you in. So I'll give you my personal safe space that I use. I'll share it with you. I've always seen a beautiful grassy meadow with a willow tree. I see beautiful flowers and daisies, and it's always really sunny with little fluffy clouds. And when I first started to do this myself, when I was learning, I would take myself there once I was kind of relaxed in a meditative state through some music or something. And I would ask my spirit guide, meet me or whomever. I had a lot of my animals that passed away, a dog and a cat, that would always meet me first. Animals will easily connect with you the first. They're very eager, and they also have the ability to go through dimensions much faster than spirit guides. And the angelic realm is even more difficult for them, because there are layers of the dimensions that they're in, and they'll meet you there. And it's important to recognize that you may see them as a person. They may show themselves as a human being with an outfit on, or in a time period, or they may say their name, but you just might have a knowing that they're there, but you won't see them, but you'll have a conversation with them in some way, communicate, or you'll see them as light, a shadow of pink or pink and blue or whatever. They will present themselves in different ways. So the more you tap in and the more you ask for them to come forward and give them a place to meet you, they will come to you. And that's my biggest recommendation for people who are trying to start out. Create your safe space, and then make sure, this is very important, really seriously pay attention right now. Anybody that is going to try to connect with the spirit guide, tap into a higher awareness, use tarot cards, go into deep meditation. It's very imperative, and I teach this in every single one of the classes I teach. It doesn't matter what I'm teaching. You have to have, an intention to connect with a higher source of a high vibration only, okay, for your highest good. That will eliminate any lower vibrational entities trying to come into your and pretend to be something they're not, and give you bad advice and take advantage of you. And then also you need to ask the universe or Archangel Michael or whomever you're comfortable with, Christ consciousness, God, Kuan Yin, whatever, to surround you with protection while you're communicating, so that you, again, are not vulnerable to psychic attack. That's very important. And I don't do it to scare people. I don't say it to scare people, but Rob, you can tag onto this and how you feel, but it's imperatively important, and it only takes your intention, and it takes 10 seconds of your time to do it, but you will thank me for it, because I personally have had experiences when I was early on, like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I had things happen to me because I didn't know any better. So those of you who don't know better yet and are perhaps new to this, please listen to me. Protect yourself and be very clear about who you are trying to interact with. Don't just say spirit guide. You have to say high vibrational spirit guide or high vibrational angelic being, because otherwise it's open to interpretation from the universe.
Yes, I agree fully. One of them, when I teach that, I teach actually starting out, put yourself in a room, bring the white light in and put that protective bubble around you, and then move into the construct. I find it funny that we do that. I use the term as a construct, kind of like the Matrix, when they bring Neo into the Matrix for the first time. It's a TV, white room, and in 2 chairs. That's it. Don't try to go crazy at first. Keep it simple, and then you build from there. But one of the things is because they want to protect him from an overload, from a mental overload.
Yeah.
So you can, by trying to go too fast, too quickly, you can put yourself in a mental strain while in meditation, because things will be coming at you. So it's all about calm. Remember, you're not going to get all the answers in one sitting. We're not meant to get them all. That's why our life is the span that it is. And guess what? When we get done, we still have more to live. So yes, you're absolutely right. Be safe, be in the right frame of mind. It is a mindset. And then you go from there. I appreciate all y'all's comments. Rabbits, I'm glad that hit you. Cindy, I'll tell my spirit guide, please. He's laughing. If he wants to come say hi, he'll say hi. So I know you like Sam Elliott. So I'll get him to come whisper in your ear. And Jay and April, love you guys. They're so near to my heart. We have periods of times where we aren't together, but there's always something anchoring us together. And some of this, we're meant to do things with each other together. So yes, I mean, I love Spiritually Raw. I love the whole concept. Love you guys. Shout out, because I appreciate all the help that you're doing with me and everything else. So I mean, that's where we're at. So is there anything else?
There was another question. I'm trying to go back and see. There was a third one. Oh, here. Southern Girl. What can I do to remove emotional damage, even damage that I have buried? That's a good question. A lot of that's energetic, but I'd like to hear your thoughts.
And this is where a lot of sometimes PTSD comes in. And we got to know that it depends on the type of emotional damage, things like that. And this is going to be hard to answer in this time frame, but let's give Southern Girl something to anchor to. So we have emotional damage. How do you walk away from it? It's not easy. Remember the definition of insanity: doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. One of the things I tell people, to change your subconscious, you have to physically do something different repeatedly. So you replace these actions, thus mindfulness, thus what I call the lockdown, when you're actually locking up, holding your breath, breathing out, and then saying, I'm okay. Things are good. Because we got to replace that with physical actions. We've all seen the movies with the people smacking the rubber band. Okay. I laugh whenever I see them using that, because that's the same form. But however, to do it right, if they're sitting there just snapping the rubber band, you ain't doing it right, because the son of a bitch is supposed to hurt. Okay? That's the whole point. Bring your brain. By the time the rubber band needs to be about that thick, it needs to come back about that far. Okay. So that by the time you're pulling it back, your brain is actually sending off warning signals. Don't let it go. It's going to hurt. Because at that point, you're now focused on the here and now. You are now in the moment. Everybody, all of your body's starting to go, wait a minute, I don't care what's going on out here. I know what's fixing to happen right here. So at that point, when you do this, that's that moment to say, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm calm. I'm a winner. I'm beyond this. I am accepting the happiness that is given to me, because that is the way we actually merge energy with science to say we slow our brain down and we can listen to the new thoughts we're putting in its place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
That was like a speed version of mindfulness. I don't know if I've ever given it that fast before. So to help with that, Southern Girl, I'm going to pull something. Just told me to do this. I'm going to my Oracle deck. Companionship was one of the first things. Don't be afraid to talk about this with people. Don't be afraid to make friends. I'm getting the feeling that something has happened and you have a problem getting close to people because you're afraid you get too close because they hurt you. I don't know if this is true or not, but this card is saying companionship is one of the things you need. And on it is written friendliness, mutual respect, shared goals, interdependence, agreement, and strengthening bonds. So you need to make sure you're strengthening your own bonds or whatnot. And then we're going to go to the tarot. Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords. Southern Girl, it's time to start over mentally. Aces are all about new beginnings. They're all about starting over. What a beautiful card this is, okay, with the eagle and the sword. Swords are about your logic, your mental, your conscious, things you are thinking about. When you think about it, you need to be moving on and doing something different to change that thought process. It's about communication as well. So it's time to, you want to do stuff that's buried, get with somebody, communication. You got to talk about it. Get it out. Let somebody know. Okay. And that starts coming to the surface, then you can deal with it. If you're burying it, you can't deal with it. It's kind of like buried treasure. Can't spend it if it's buried in the ground. Okay. So you want to get rid of it, get it out, get it in the open, be honest with you about it, talk about it, and find somebody to communicate with. Okay. You might be a therapy thing. Okay.
Wow. That was great. Rob, we're getting up to the final minutes here. So I thank you so much. And Rob and I talked about doing a weekly thing. So perhaps you guys could pull some questions together, and weekly we will re-meet and we'll connect with the audience and have Rob pull cards. I'll give you my spiritual aspect of it, and it'll be a nice combination moving forward. If that's something you guys would be interested in hearing. I thought to close today, what we could pick one more card, just something to like, what's the theme of 2021? Like something like that, energetically, that is good for everybody to hear, collectively, the energy of 2021.
Okay. If you go to YouTube and Tarot with an Attitude, I actually put a video up about that. 2020, everybody's like, that was so screwy, everything. 2020 numerically was a 4. It's all about establishing a base. And we established a new hardline base for this country, a way of going to work, way of doing things. We've got it. 2021 is actually about conflict and instability. Okay. But we can survive it. The key to surviving it is maintaining that high energy level and being happy and focusing on what we want to bring in. Yeah. Things are going to happen. Leadership's going to change. Guess what? We're going to have to deal with it. We could either run screaming and arms all akimbo and life is it, and I'm buying 94,000 rolls of toilet paper, or I can sit back and go, you know what? my God, my spirit guides, my angels, my life, I'm going to come through this either way. I want to be aware. I want to know what I'm doing. So that's my take, real short, on 2021. And then if we ask the cards here real quick, 2021, what are we doing? Okay. My spirit guide's actually laughing over my shoulder. Page of Swords. It's going to be, remember we talked about pages being that teenage and swords being, it's going to be new ideas. It's going to be people acting like children. Okay. 2021, we've got swords here. There's the conflict I'm telling you about, but it is going to be about communication and being logical in decisions. We're not going to win anything by beating people over the head with a hammer.
Beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much, Rob. I guess we're going to get kicked off the channel because it's 12 o'clock. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Rob, so much for your cards today. It was so nice to talk to you. Until next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.